What's going on, good people? Welcome to the episode of Most Likely to Day Drink, where we sip slow with Culture Convo. I got my girl Keita with me, and Terrence, aka Terrence. And before we get started, I just want to find out what is going on in y'all's cups.
Well, there's not too much going on in my cup. I tried to keep it simple and just made a pineapple rum cocktail. There was a name I had for it. I forgot. So it was just a pineapple rum cocktail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're trying to find the formal government name for it, huh?
I was, but it's actually I think it's on our page. I think the recipe is on our page.
Is that the one you did the video of?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was into that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. What about you, Terrence?
I am sipping on me a lovely tequila mule in a mule glass that is nice and iced over and chilly.
It looks frosty. That's what's up.
Very frosty.
All right.
I'm so icy.
Well, me myself, I have a bourbon with a twist or a zest, I should say, of orange with my was it Stone ice cubes?
No.
Ice cubes. So orange chill with that. So cool. Well, anything that we want to talk about that's before we get into the topic? Anything that y'all gotta express or get off your chest?
No, chest is clear. Is clear.
Cool. Well, we're gonna jump right into it. So today's topic is about body confidence. So body confidence, for those that don't know, is how a person feels about the way they look. When we have a body confidence, we accept, we're happy, we feeling ourselves, we out there in the streets, we're doing our thing, we got a swagger about us. And the opposite of that is just you just feel a certain kind of way about yourself and others, really, because it does. That energy can just ooze over.
Just down here.
How other people feel about you and how you feel about yourself. So
readjust the camera.
Try to talk about that and hit on that type of subject. So, who brought this up? Was this a
Terrence?
Was this you?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it?
I wouldn't have brought this up.
Oh, and why not?
Because I don't have any body confidence. So
Why
would I have brought up a subject that I don't want to? Why would I have brought this up? Why would I have brought up a subject that I don't want to talk about?
Well, because we like to talk. We like to tackle difficult topics.
Oh, that's nice.
That's how we grow.
You get uncomfortable.
No, for some reason I didn't think it was me that brought this up, but I'll take credit for it. I'll take credit for it since I also have my fair share of body confidence issues, and I'm sure that a lot of the viewership also has their things. And we do live in a world where people are, filtered and made up and auto-tuned and face-tuned and sliced and covered.
Yeah, I'm mad that I can't get a filter on here.
I'm mad that my filter is not as good as I want it to be. I'm like, listen, and it's not just that, but we see pictures of ourselves, from ages past when we didn't quite appreciate how we looked, and we're like, damn, I actually look really good at 32 or 22 or whatever. Like, I was banging in the face when I was 25.
Had the young face.
I had that young, slim, clean shaven. The teeth were not there yet, but that's okay. I just didn't smile in pictures.
Hey, man.
Yeah,
you can buy those. You can pay for that.
And I did. You just have to work. I think it was about working what you had, but we didn't really know that back then. And I think we still don't really know it now. I think we still are at a point where, I think all three of us, I would say, are fairly confident people in life. But there are still certain things I think we probably try to minimize or hide a bit. And so we're going to actually get into a little bit of discussion about what it is we still feel like we need to hide.
Yeah.
Everything.
So there's nothing. There's nothing in this that you consider that you're like, this is popping.
Oh yeah,
this is my go-to.
My bun.
Your bun is all. The hair game is always top.
Other than that, nothing.
Yeah,
Other
until it
than that,
is.
nothing. Really?
So let me ask you this. So I think I think body confidence is kind of a manifestation of either what you've told yourself or what people have told you throughout your journey in life.
Absolutely.
Because I know several people that in society's eyes, may be classified, not as handsome or gorgeous or whatever, but they are confident in themselves to the point where they exude, this just beauty that is it makes them attractive. It makes people attracted to them.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
but I think a lot of that has to do with either what's encouraged or what's told to them by others in a positive manner, or what
Yeah.
they tell themselves, and
Right.
and really have that ability to speak that positivity within themselves to exude that out.
So can we break it down a little bit? I want to know from everybody, have you actually been told things about your body that have led to you having body confidence issues?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I want to know what and when.
Jesus.
So,
Oh, yeah, we get deep.
so
Rabbit hole, man.
yeah, yeah. I wouldn't say like I'll say when I was younger is
Right.
when, and it's really weird because when I was younger, maybe 19, 20, I was dating this guy that was very verbally abusive.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I was a lot smaller
Mm-hmm.
to the point where, okay, so let me go back. He liked big girls.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why he was dating me at the time, because at the time I was maybe 130, maybe 135.
Mm-hmm.
And he was always, like making reference to how small my legs were, or always saying, well, and literally would always say, well, you only weigh $125, like, where did this go? Like, we'd be talking about hamburgers and he would bring up my weight.
Mm-hmm.
And he cheated on me with several people, and they were all big girls.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like I needed to gain some weight.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how crazy is that? Like, I'm trying to get bigger so that this guy will like me more.
It's like
it's
like living in the upside down.
Yeah. Like I would literally eat really late at night and go to bed purposely trying to gain weight.
Yeah.
Didn't gain weight. And now at this time, I'm like super young. Like I said, I was like 19 and 20. I'm on the go all the time. And even, already at a young age, your metabolism is going, it's a lot stronger than it is when you get older. So I just wasn't gaining any weight. And he literally convinced me that, and not saying that because of your weight that makes you ugly or anything. I don't want to get it misconstrued, but he convinced me that I was not as pretty as bigger girls.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I had in my head. It was like, because of my size, like I'm not pretty.
Mm-hmm.
And we had many issues. I remember just trying to do little things to change the way I looked, to hopefully make him say, oh, you look good today, or you look cute today, or just to get a compliment. Mm-hmm. I remember going to my stylist, and I cut off all my hair. Like my hair was maybe past my shoulders at the time, and I cut it into like a really short bob. And that's where my insecurities about my ears came from. Mm-hmm. Because when I saw him later that day, he was like, I don't know why you cut your hair, because you have big ears. So now people are going to see your ears. Damn. And I was just like, wow. Like I couldn't.
I got a question. Mm-hmm. So what is it? Because I've I've noticed is when there is a, I want to say traumatic, but when there is a life event, I'll say major life event in a woman's life, and they have long hair, they cut it. Like,
You know what? I used
what is
to
that?
try to figure that out, and one of my friends actually figured it out for me, because every time I would be in a situation where I was upset or I felt like things were out of control, I would cut all my hair off.
Mhm.
And she was like, you do that because that's the only thing that you can control. Because everything else is out of control. Your hair is the one thing that you have control. It's one of the things that you have control over. She was like, that's why you're always, every time things like go awry and you feel like you've lost control, you go and cut all your hair off. Because that's one of the things that you still have control over. That's one of the things that you feel like you still have a choice or a say so in. So, yeah. And I struggle now that I am natural, I struggle with not cutting my hair whenever I'm going through something or I'm feeling a certain way. Because being natural is if you cut your hair when you're natural, when it's straight, it's fine. So if I get it cut like in a bob or some kind of layered look or whatever, it's fine while it's straight. But then when you go back to its natural state, you don't know what it's gonna look like, if that makes sense. It's not gonna hang the way it used to. You're not gonna be able to put it up in a puff the way you used to. So I struggle with that now being natural.
Yeah.
It's like I can't just run, and I can, but then I got to think about how is it
It's a
going to
whole
look.
different other consequence that
Yeah.
that you got.
Right. Yeah, because none of us want to look like we're in that growth stage of our hair getting to where we want it to be. Because that's a struggle. That is a struggle stage.
Oh yeah.
Where where it doesn't quite come together in a style that
That's
you
a
want.
body confidence issue all in itself. With that between. Oh man, I remember when I had locks, and it's that point where they comb twisted, where you actually have locks that in between.
Yeah.
Oh, tragic.
Like it is not a fun place to be. Back when I was first doing this, my hair would start to lock out, and I'm like, I'm not really sure I want to do that, because when I want to change it, if I want to change it, I don't want to have to cut all my hair off and start back over. Because as I was saying before we started the recording, I have issues around having short hair. I just don't think that it is a good look for me anymore. And at one point, it was the only way that I ever wore my hair. Like, I used to get it pretty much down to the skin. And then I started looking at pictures, and I was like, wow, you was really out here looking crazy. I'm like, no profile pics ever, sir. Ever.
That's crazy, because when I was younger, my grandmother on my dad's side, she never wanted me to cut my hair.
Yeah.
Like, for them, hair was everything.
Yeah.
So when I got in high school, I remember the very first time that I ever cut my hair really, really short. I think maybe I was a sophomore. And I got it cut like shaved in the back, everything.
Like the Halle Berry back in the day?
Yeah. And when she saw my hair, like, I remember her being upset with my mom for letting me cut my hair. Yeah. So I think a lot of things shape the way, I know a lot of things, we all know a lot of things shape the way that we view ourselves. Even if things like from childhood shape the way we view ourselves. So I've just never been, I take that back. I was going to say I've never been in a place where I've been really confident about my body. But I think after dealing with my ex, after I finally got enough sense to let him go, I overcompensated, because I was so I went through after him, I went through my whole phase. Because I was like, if you aren't going to tell me that I look good, I know several others that will. And I found them.
Nikes and chased his validation.
Yes, I went searching, and I had no problem finding them.
Absolutely.
Even when me and him were together, like, as a woman, and I heard another woman say this, the ugliest woman can get more compliments than any man.
Yeah. Men are gonna shoot their shot.
Yes. The ugliest woman will get more
Blindfolded,
compliments than any
they will
man.
shoot their shot blindfolded. They don't, man, look here.
Yeah.
That is true. That is true.
So, you know, I even when him and I were still together, dealing with each other or whatever, you know, I had no issues with guys shooting their shot. But I was just so hung up on him at the time
right.
that it didn't matter. So, but yeah, I went through my whole phase, and I don't know even then that I would say that my body confidence was high. I think I was just overcompensating for what I wasn't getting from him.
Yeah, heard.
Yeah.
Will,
where did your
So mine was I remember this distinctly. I was probably it was in elementary. So I was actually I was in the husky section as a kid. So I get the husky size, you know, you had slim husky, whatever. So I don't know if I had a, you know, I guess at the time in elementary, you don't think about it. Everybody got a little chubby in them, I guess. But, you know, like I said, I guess I was fortunate enough to have my mom that was one that kind of loved me as I was and just encouraged me and kind of push me out there and to do whatever I felt was, as long as I was trying my best or doing my best, you know, she was satisfied. So I think with that, I remember there was something that clicked in my head. I remember I was in 6th grade. A friend and family that had gone to the military, went to boot camp for the Army, and he came back, and you know he was, I think at that time probably in his late 20s, early 30s, and I'm 11 or 12, and he was like, I think I can do more push-ups than you. And he was doing his push-ups, and then I was doing mine. I think at the time I could only do about like 4 or 5, and he was like, you know, 20, 30, whatever. And I got so angry. I got so, like, in my head I was like just pissed, like I'm gonna beat you. And so that summer I was like, all right, every time when I wake up, when I go to bed, I'm gonna do like at least 10 push-ups when I wake up, 10 push-ups when I go to bed. And so I did that for like a whole summer, and then, you know, 10 went to 20, whatever. And by the time I saw him again, and again, like I said, I'm 11 or 12, and I think he was in his like 20s or whatever. I was at least able to do, you know, a good 30 push-ups. I mean, he could still beat me, but it was one of those things where, again, it was the idea of, you know, just doing your best or trying hard or whatever that made something click in my head. It was like, oh, I can do that, you know, I can beat you at this. And then just trying to apply, well, if you did it like this, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do it just like that, and I should be able to, you know, get to where you are. So just over time, that kind of stayed with me. And I think it's just an idea of, again, having or finding, because some people just you don't always have it in your life to feed into you or to pour into you. Right. So sometimes you just got to find something else, whether it's a book, whether it's a mentor, whether it's a motivator, whatever the case may be, that can pour that into you, and ideally, you know, get you to that point. But that was kind of where I had my kind of epiphany or milestone as it related to body confidence. You know, I think men more than women will look in the mirror butt naked and be like, oh no, I'm good. You know, whatever they may look like. I mean, they you know, they may look down and can't even see they you know, they people. But still be like, no, I'm straight.
Not people.
Yeah, you know, you're man in the boat, you know.
Wait, no, that's the
that's the wrong term.
That's the wrong body. No.
Hey, the banana and 2 grapes. I don't know what you want to call
offline about that one.
Okay.
Oh my
Single
God.
little man that's beside the boat.
And
Oh,
actually,
never mind. I know what that is now.
yeah, I figured that light was gonna come on eventually, but our actually, and I want to bookmark a discussion about family contributions to our body. Our first thoughts about our own bodies after I go into my particular story, but so mine kind of started actually with my family. I was very small. I was a very small kid. I was short. I was very skinny. My head was the same size as it is now. I'm pretty sure this has been my head size since birth. And I still have a very unique voice. I've had a lot of people actually both say and assume that my voice does not match what I look like,
Mhm.
what they expect me to sound like. So, there were things about that kind of always came up when I was a kid. When I hit puberty, my skin went crazy. Like in terms of acne, there was acne on the face, on the back, on the shoulders, on the chest, but everywhere, literally everywhere. And there was really no, like at that point, you went to the doctor, you went to the dermatologist. It wasn't anything they paid a lot of attention to. There wasn't really much of a remedy for it.
Mhm.
And so you just kind of had to suffer through it. And back then, of course, any and every home remedy was, worth trying if you thought it would do something. So I just started putting rubbing alcohol on my face all the time to get rid of that problem. Of course, that dries your skin out. And to this day, I have overproductive sebum glands because of all the damage I did to my face back then. I would probably take a piece of tissue and I would soak it. And I would do that like 4 or 5 times over. When I did oxypads, I would, when oxypads were a thing and I could get that or Clearasil, I would take like probably 5 to 10 pads a night and just go over my face just to get rid of that. And I also had, the teeth situation was very dire. It was just like teeth every now
Oh
and
yeah.
then. And them are facing, there's like they didn't want to talk to each other. So no two of them are facing in the same direction. They just like,
Yeah. And
it
I had
was
the
bad.
Michael Strahan thing going back then too. So
Yeah, but see, yours were always like straight. They weren't, I think you had braces as well, all right?
oh yeah, yeah. I had them
Yeah.
all through high school. I didn't get them off until my senior year, going
That's
into the
right.
senior.
That's right. I didn't get braces until I graduated high school. But yeah, my teeth, that situation was terrible. So it's like I never wanted to smile because the two things people would always latch on to were my skin and my teeth. And that was, some of it was in my family, some of it was peers in school. And so even now to this day, I still, if I go to a pool, you will not always see me take my shirt off because there's still scarring and it's not nearly what it was, but there is still that. And I still feel like that. I still feel like that kid that if I do something that everybody else does, but my body doesn't look quite like theirs, I I feel like everyone's looking at me, everyone's making judgments about me, everyone's making assumptions about my level of cleanliness or desirability or whatever the case may be, just because I've made myself vulnerable in that way. So you just don't often see me with a shirt with no shirt on.
Mhm.
And I feel like, I feel like I work decently well at keeping my body in a certain shape, but that is not something even now that I feel comfortable doing.
So what do you do to solve for that?
I want to get to that as well, but I also want to, before we get into that, I actually want to talk about like the roots of these things,
Mhm.
because I feel like, and I can't speak for all cultures, but I know in Black culture, at least as I experienced it, modesty was always a big thing. Like you just didn't, in my household and in my family's households, you just didn't see people walking around without many clothes on. Like I didn't grow up in what you call a naked household where people are walking around in drawers and without, you're pretty much covered up at all times.
Mhm.
Either you're wearing, like if it was my mom, you're wearing we're wearing pajama bottoms and a top. You're not walking. I know that we would get, something would be said if I was walking around the house all day in my underwear. It's like, you need to put some clothes
Right.
on, because that's not an appropriate. So I think and I don't think the intention there was to discourage you from being comfortable with your body just as it looks, but it was just like, nobody wants to see that. Doesn't matter what it looks like. Nobody wants to see that. That is for you. That is for you and you alone, and is not for you to show anybody. So I think whether we were able to understand it on this level or not, I think it created the idea that we're not supposed to take pride in our bodies, or we're not supposed to be comfortable. We're only supposed to be comfortable when our bodies are clothed. That is the only appropriate way to be around people, even people that you share space with every day. I mean, did y'all have kind of similar experiences that way?
I mean, I guess I'll say that I did, but it wasn't something that I noticed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, thinking back on it, then, I mean, no, we didn't walk around. I mean, everybody was always fully clothed,
Right.
but it wasn't something that I feel like was enforced,
Mm-hmm.
or something that stood out to me.
Yeah.
So, but I guess now that you mention it, I'll say yes, because there's a couple that I follow, and I listen to their podcast. I also follow them on Instagram.
Yeah.
But they have married couple. They have 3 boys. I'm not going to mention the podcast, but Love Lady, you probably know who it is. The wife is always walking around in her t-shirt and underwear. And they have 3 little boys, and I'm just like, and then like, and it's, they do their daily vlogs or whatever, and she's just walking around in t-shirt and panties, cooking breakfast. And I'm like, your kids are right. Like, why would you walk around like that, in front of your kids? So I guess now that you say that, that's probably where that idea comes from.
Yeah.
Because I would never walk around in front of my kids half dressed. Like, I'm just not going to do that.
She ain't doing it for them kids.
I know she's not, but I'm just saying they're there.
So
I know she's not doing it for them, but they're there. So it's just like, are you not mindful of the fact that your kids are in the room?
I'm gonna share this with y'all as parents. There's a phrase. I can't remember where it started. I know we started using it probably back in 06, 07, 08, something like that. But it's basically F them kids. And it's not that you don't love your kids. You love your kids, but sometimes you just be like, man, this ain't about you. This is about me.
Right.
I understand that, but it's not. That has nothing to do with you not loving your kid. It's just, why would you? It's not. I don't think it's appropriate. That's just me.
Yeah, I'm not saying it is or isn't, but I'm just saying that may be the attitude that she's taking. I don't know.
It may be, but it's just like.
But yeah, that's
not the time to take that attitude, though.
Right. Because I mean, I know I have to tell at least my youngest, because now so he had kind of the same phase as me, where he was husky and he didn't really, like how his body was shaped up and what have you. And now he's he had his first growth spurt, and so he's leaned up and he's got his muscles back and been working out for basketball and whatnot. So. He'll come down for dinner, just draws on. I'm like, whoa, no. Bro, you ain't sitting at the table. What you ain't gonna do is just sit at the table with boxer briefs on.
Right.
Up here, just sit at the table with your chest out.
Right.
And,
yeah, and I think that,
everything free flowing.
I think there are, at least 2 schools of thought on that. And I think that there are some, because I've talked to some parents who are like, I didn't want my kids to see their bodies as just sexual. So I wanted to, desexualize the body and allow them to feel comfortable in their own skin enough that if they wanted to walk around like that, nobody was going to make a big deal and make them feel shame about it. So that when they leave my house and they go out into the world, they're able to function and able to distinguish between just presenting your body as your body and then presenting your body in a sexual way. So what do we think?
I don't think that's a good way of conveying that message.
Right.
That's just me. That's just me. I'm not raising anybody else's kids.
Right.
You
Absolutely.
raise your kids the way you want to.
Absolutely.
But I think there's another way that we can convey that message other than, hey, let's all just walk around naked. Hey, did you see Daddy's PP today? You know, like
Well, I mean, and you think about things like, I don't know if all of us, like, if you bathed with your parents at a certain age, well, that was a thing. That was a
I
thing
know
when
it
I
was a
was.
thing. I know it was a thing. I never did it. It was
Yeah, and
never
I
a
was
thing
looking
in
at
my
your
house.
face.
Like at age 1 or 2. After that,
Yeah. It gets when you can call things by name. I feel like it's probably
you need to get out the tub.
yeah, because kids are very curious creatures, and I just feel like I feel like it's uncomfortable for the kid as well. Like I get for the parent, it's a matter of efficiency, getting things done together, and not and just trying to, and also it could be bonding time, but at the same time, it's just I don't know.
Yeah,
But I feel like those are.
I think we were at a 2 or 3-year-old kind of cutoff after. I mean, we bathe with them, whatever. But yeah, once they can start saying, no, mom, dad, like I don't know, I gotta get out of there. It's time to move on.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now you just start guiding them into, okay, raise your arm.
Yeah.
Literally,
Give them a YouTube video at this point. Is like, here's how that's done.
What you said.
And I think but I think that contributes too. There's a lot of hesitancy, I think, among some Black families to talk about these things directly. Like for me, if my mom watches this, she will probably argue with me, but she will be wrong. I did not get the sex talk.
No, I didn't get the sex talk either. I didn't get the sex talk.
It wouldn't even fit my circumstances because she's not going to give me sex talk about how to go bang dudes, but or what it means, or the significance of that and the risk associated. But
ill-placed.
Right. It's gonna, mama, that's the wrong book. But go get that other one. But I feel like that doesn't happen a lot. And so that just kind of adds to the idea that there's something about our bodies that we just don't want to access and talk about. Will, did you get the talk?
It's like I think it was more of an indirect. Like it wasn't like, this is what goes on. It was more of, hey, I don't want you getting anyone pregnant. And we didn't talk about like the use of condoms, or we didn't talk about, abstaining or anything like that. I think they feel like, oh, well, he goes to church, so what they say up there should apply. He should be able to translate that to what he needs to, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I will say though, my boys. So at the time when they were of that age, Kim was a health educator at a health system in St. Louis, and she would do that talk along with like sex, drugs, and alcohol was her talk to different schools, middle school, high school, all that. So they had a very extensive talk to the point where they learned how to like put condoms on a banana and all. I mean, she went through the whole 9. I mean,
I remember that story, and I think that's awesome.
There was like no misinterpretation of what goes on and how it goes on, and what you can and cannot get, and how you can and cannot get it. Even my godson, he got dragged into it, and he was like, telling my son, like, man, what the hell did you do? Like, why did I get pulled into this?
Yes.
But I think it was they felt embarrassed about it at the time, but as they grew older, they appreciated it. And I didn't recognize how much it was needed, and kind of hate that I didn't know that, or at least I can't say my mom didn't know, but either it could have been uncomfortable for her. It's just like you do the best you can with what you got, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think that those kind of conversations, the age-appropriate conversations, need to be had, and it just helps for a better understanding of not only your body, but even other bodies. People.
Because there's so much misinformation out there, and obviously, what education parents don't supply, your peers will. Mm-hmm. And I just remember like how misinformed I was about even the act of sex. Like I legit thought at one time that there was really no point to having sex. It was literally just two people doing it until they got tired. Like, I didn't.
You didn't know about the climax part.
I
Like
did
the, you
not.
didn't know
I'm
about
like,
the.
all right, it's about 8:30. Let's go on and let's go on, roll up or whatever. I really had no idea that there was a point.
Mm,
You know,
I was like,
my sex education was listening to my mom and my aunts talk about having babies
yeah.
and the pain of having kids.
Mm-hmm.
That was enough to scare me to
Yeah.
not have sex.
Oh yeah.
That's all I needed. Like, I was just like, it comes out of where? What happens when the baby? Like, no.
how big is this baby?
Like, just it. Listening to them talk was terrifying. It was terrifying. So it was enough for me to be like, yeah, I don't want to do that, because again, like Terrence, I didn't see the pleasure of having sex, I was just like, he puts it in there and then a baby is formed and the woman goes through all this pain, and I couldn't imagine how you could push something that big out of that little bitty hole down there. It was just like, how does that happen? I'm so confused. So that was the extent of a sex talk for me. So my mom never gave me like an official sex talk.
Yeah, I think I got a 3-word from my dad, very rubber. That was literally, it was those 3 words. That was it.
I knew to just from friends. Like you said, you learn from your peers, like, and we would talk about it and figure it out. And, that's how I found out where to even get condoms. Because it's like, oh yeah, you can go to the free clinic.
Right.
The brown bag.
Yep.
I did a brown bag. Yeah, you go up in there, you get the brown bag. You just ask them for that. Like, so you just find out. You stumble upon.
Yeah.
Because the thing was it was the end thing to have colored condoms, whether you were using them or not. I had some in my purse, just because. And I remember my mom found them one time, and I was like, I just have them because everybody else has them. I'm not doing. I mean, I had a purse full of them: red, yellow, green, blue, purple. It's like it's just the thing to do. Like
Crayola condom company,
right?
Like,
I'm not
hard, boy. Like, oh Lord, I done raised the hole.
Yeah, I'm not, but that was, and the only reason I had them was because the girl who was my best friend at the time had went to the health department to get on birth control. And so me and 2 other people went with her. So that's how I got the condoms. And so my mom sat me down and asked me, like where I got them from. And she interrogated me to the point where I finally told her this is a situation that, got me the condoms. So that was a whole thing because she then called this girl's parents.
You was the snitch. Okay.
Yeah. She then called this girl's parents, and it was just like, it was a whole thing. But yeah, like I was not having sex in high school. I wasn't having sex. And I mean, I didn't, journey into that world until after high school. So yeah, but
see,
but I don't remember. I don't remember body confidence being an issue the first time that I did something. I don't think I was thinking about that. I was just thinking about the fact, oh my gosh, I'm about to have sex for the first time.
Right.
That's what was going through my head.
Now, let me ask you this. Did you feel like it had to be in the dark?
Only because that's the scenario I had set up in my head for having sex. Not because I didn't want him to see my body.
Right.
That was just this is what I think sex is supposed to be. So let's turn on some music. You remember when we used to play music? When
Oh,
you
That's
you
what the
had
quiet
play-
storm is invented for.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
you had playlists, that you would make up and sex, tapes until we ventured over into CDs.
Oh,
Yeah. Enough tempo
Um,
changes and things. It's just like, all right. I
Yeah.
need you to get a consistent tempo with the music because
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
tired of this slow.
You had,
like
the,
slow.
you had the record pause button
Uh-huh,
on lock.
uh-huh.
Your record pause button was
Yep.
man.
Yep.
You got that one music control hand, and
Yeah,
you just
you can't hit stop because stop makes it you hear that.
Uh-huh.
So you gotta hit the pause button.
hold on, let me put the tape on.
Hey, we love
Yeah.
you telling our age though. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. It's fine though. But yeah, only because that's the scenario I had set up in my head. It's you turn the lights out and you do the do. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
See, it's interesting with me because I'm a very practical person. So I'm like, well, I want to know where I want to be able to see. I want to know what's going on, where everything is going, and make sure things are jumping off correctly. I'm not up in somebody's elbow or something, but
Gotta feel you.
But at the same time, you also, or at least for me, there was that fear that, oh my God, what if they see this and they don't like it? What if they see this and they think, or they have questions or they stop or whatever, or they just, it's turn off and they don't want to do it again.
Mm.
And I feel like that occurs to a lot of people because I think there's a good number of people, and it'll be interesting to hear from the audience on this one. Like, do you feel like when you do that, you have to be in the dark? Because I think there are a great many people who actually do feel like they just cannot like conceive of sex with the lights on.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure there are, especially your modest people who don't venture out.
Yeah.
When it comes to sexual intercourse. I don't know how YouTube is going to mute us using the word sex all the time. But you have your people who are, strictly missionary.
Right.
They don't get down any other way. So, for them,
Same
turn the
thing.
lights out, you get on top, you do what you have to do. And it's going to be over. I'm going to get up. I'm going to put on my house gown and we're going to go to sleep. Like that. That's
no shower.
I don't know. What'd you say?
You sleep on that.
Yeah.
Marinate. Hey, you get that in the morning.
Yeah.
You're out in the morning.
So
Tired now. They're releasing my sleep hormones. We call it releasing sleep hormones over here.
Yeah.
I mean, you do you do the basics. You clean up down there, and you just.
Somebody gotta get the hot towel.
Yeah, somebody does have to get the hot towel. Somebody does have to get the hot towel.
Oh, it's a hot towel. Okay.
Yeah, you don't want a cold.
I just thought it was a wet towel.
No, I guess it's got to be warm. It's got to be warm.
Warm, yeah.
Okay, I'm learning things.
Yeah, it needs to be especially for a woman. It needs to be warm.
Okay.
Our pH. Y'all already be jacking up our pH, and we need all the help we can get. So please make it a warm towel.
Okay.
Just for anybody out there listening, please make it a warm towel.
Life lessons here.
Right.
Yes, warm.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So, but
Yeah.
I mean, I think today, body confidence has a lot to do with the act of engaging in relations for me.
Mm-hmm.
Pants off, dance off.
I hate that. I hate that term, love lady. Anyway, but yeah, I don't want to put too much out. Well, I'm not going to say too much because that would be putting all my business out there in the streets, in the YouTube streets. But yeah, it does have a lot to do with, even if it's with somebody that I'm used to,
Mm-hmm.
it's still like, no.
So do you all feel like it's I guess there's this the mirror test, you look in the mirror and if you're ever in the mirror naked, like how do you, I feel like guys can do that more so than women and have a higher level of confidence in themselves, even though it may be inflated compared to the woman may feel less confident about standing in the mirror naked versus the man, even though
He should feel less confident.
right. Like in reality, it's like, nah, dude.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned before, not today, but we were talking about this topic earlier, how I had read more than once that our mind tricks us into thinking that we're like 5 to 10 times more attractive than we actually are. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that's true.
I was about to say my stuff operates in reverse.
Yeah, I do not. I've had several people tell me, "Oh, you look good," and I'm just like, where?
Yeah.
I don't see it at all. Now, I don't, have a lack of people giving me compliments for various things. Mm-hmm. But I don't have the confidence that I want to have. Mm-hmm. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. So I don't, that whole, our mind tricking us into, maybe for some guys, those men that love lady is speaking of, maybe that's how it works for them. But
yeah,
I think men also
you over there like, yeah, I'm good. Come on, let's go.
I just need to cut back on these biscuits. I'm gonna be straight.
But I think men also occupy a privileged place in society. We're told that we're pretty much good. All we got to worry about is our penis being the right size. We're good to go. And
that's just not.
Even if it's not the thing you do, right? And listen, there are still folks that are adequately sized and they have no idea what they're doing. So it's not just about that. For all of y'all out there in the audience that have been misinformed, it's more than that, boo. Let me take a sip real quick.
I think guys think that as long as they are putting it down, that the female should be happy, and or they think, oh, for example, I'm gonna. I don't know if he watches this or not. I'm not gonna say his name, but I was talking to an ex, and we were just having a conversation, and he mentioned some girl that had been trying to get with him. And I was like, well, you should go ahead and talk to her. And he said, no, if I get with her, if I give her this, she'll go crazy. And I was like, I said, really? And he was like, well, it made you go crazy. I said, okay, let's get one thing straight. That does not make a woman go crazy. If you're with a woman and you feel like you need to label her as, oh, she crazy, she acting crazy, blah, 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 it's not because of the sex. It's because of other things that you're probably doing and telling her. Sex is not going to make a woman go crazy.
Right.
Not going to make her lose her mind. It's not going to have her stalking you. Because let's be real, if you can put it down, there's other people that can put it down too.
Right.
So why would I waste my time going, if that's all I'm in it for? Yeah. I can get that from anybody.
Absolutely.
So
you got one in the hand versus two in the bush. You got one in the hand versus two in the bush, though.
Listen, I'm not gonna deal with you just because your penis is good. I'm not gonna. That's not gonna drive me crazy. That's not gonna have me in love with you.
Right.
That's not what makes a woman fall in love. Now, if you're dealing with a woman and that's all that's making her fall in love, then we got other things to talk about. You know, that no. But you know, he wanted to say, well, that's why you were so crazy about me, and I'm like, mm-mm,
You're right.
that wasn't
Well, but
it,
I
sir.
think that does speak to the extent which people use sex as a substitute for many other things they know they don't
Mm-hmm.
know how to do well. Like I've certainly in past relationships used sex as a proxy for communication. You know, we can't talk about this. We argue about this all the time. No, once we get to the bedroom, we will work all out, and everybody will be good here too until we find something else to fall out about, and
Mm-hmm.
then we'll just go back, watch, rinse, and repeat. So I do feel like, I do feel like the reason a lot of guys feel that way is because they know they can use that to substitute for all the things they're not doing in the relationship
Mm-hmm.
that are expected of them. And it's just an easy distraction. It's like, all right, so let me either lay it down and let me go get you some food. I feel like one of the two of those is gonna be the right
Yeah,
answer.
see, and yeah, I'm sick of all those memes too. You know, if she's mad and upset, you know, come on, you hungry? You want to go get something to eat? And all of a sudden, everything is okay.
No
No,
lie, it works for me. I'm like, you feed me, I'll leave
I
your
mean,
ass
you can
alone
feed
for.
me, but guess what? I'm still gonna be mad
Yeah.
while I'm eating. I'm going to be mad. So you can feed me. You can send me some food via DoorDash, so
Yeah.
I can text you while I'm eating.
Right.
And
Right.
that doesn't solve everything. And if you're dealing with a simple-minded person that food and sex is all it takes to make them happy, no,
Y'all
just
gonna
no.
get up in them comments if you feel like we fired a shots, please make sure you get in the comments and tell us why.
Mm, well,
Why indeed? Why
Why
indeed?
why indeed?
Oh my goodness, y'all are too much, man. So,
what?
uh,
Wait a minute. No, I feel like
I think
Love Lady has not
that's enough.
contributed enough to this subject, but we're gonna let it go. We're gonna get back to this body confidence thing.
oh, so any other questions, comments, or concerns? I'm in awe about um. So how do you all, and I don't know how much interaction you guys have with like um, younger folks. Like, how do you all feel or see body confidence in like the younger generations?
I feel like there's no such thing as I don't have body confidence in the younger generation because and I have a few younger people that I deal with.
Yeah.
Um and let me tell you, uh, I can't say what I want to say because too many certain
You can say it
people.
and just edit it out.
Okay, well, no, I can't. That'll take away from the point.
Almost got it, Terrence.
Yeah, I was
I
about
was
to be
about to
like,
say,
okay,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you.
yeah. He opened that trap
No,
door. You about to fall in.
no, but I even being on social media, you see them posting pictures and posting videos, and it's just like, so you think you look good, huh? You know, like it's like juvenile. So you think you look good, huh? Like you don't see that fat roll, huh? You know, like they don't care. And I was talking to
The
somebody
booty
about
cheek
this
on the
the other
sink.
day. Hmm.
Booty cheek on the sink. You
Yeah,
know,
like
the bathroom picture. You know,
and can we just pause for a second and talk about the bathroom picture? People, men and women, can y'all please stop posting these bathroom pictures with the toilet in the background? That is so nasty. And especially if the toilet seat is up.
Yeah, yeah. I gotta co-sign on that. Get
That
out
takes
the
away from the don't do that. That is so nasty. There are so many other we have ring lights now. I have one on right now. You get
ass.
it on Amazon, it don't cost that much. There are other places in the house that have good lighting. People always say the bathroom has the best lighting. Get you a ring light, okay? So you can stop taking them pictures in the bathroom with the toilet in the background. That is nasty.
Right, especially if the
Okay?
toilet is not clean. And in many cases, it is not.
But
Please.
anyway, back to what we were saying. Yeah, I follow a lot of a few younger people on Instagram that I know, and they just be out here. They don't care.
Hey,
Yeah.
man.
And it's just like, yeah.
But do we think that that is actual sincere body confidence, or do we think that they're trying to compete or trying to show that they have something that they in fact don't have? Because I've always heard it said, and I believe it to be true, if you have it, you don't have to talk about it. You know, it's just sort of evident. And I feel like we've had discussions before that there are certain people we've seen that the way they move in the world, it silently conveys that they have confidence, and that's why they get the level of attention that they do, even if you wouldn't look at them yourself and say, yeah, I see that person as a physically attractive person in an objective sense. Like everybody would agree that person's attractive. If we can't even say that, there are some people who move in the world in such a way that that quiet confidence just speaks very loudly. And I
Um,
feel like the people that are all over social media are not those people typically, or at least depending on how they present themselves, you know?
So, I mean, some of the time it's just trying to get some form of validation
Yeah.
or confirmation of, I'm gonna put this out here so that people can respond to me, and that response, positive or negative, feeds me in the way that I needed to feed me.
I mean, I used to be a big fan of the thirst trap. I'm like, I got a whole aquifer set up over here. Just drop water in it, please. I wanted, no, I would post, actually when I first started wearing this hair and it was super long, I posted, I think like, I posted like 3 pictures in a row. I was in California visiting some dear friends of mine, from one of whom has been a friend since college, the other one of whom I met in law school, and we were having a great time in Palm Springs. And I posted like these 3 pictures, and one of my friends called me out. He's like, sir, if we could just relax with thirst traps for a moment. And I'm like, can I leave? Can I leave?
You're on a roll, huh?
Listen, I was out here trying to get this validation for these likes.
I mean, but we all have done it. I post thirst traps all the time.
I know, yes, I remember.
I post them all the time. So I mean, we all do it. Well, Love Lady don't do it. Love Lady never posts anything on his page, but
I get around to it. I put it on my business. I put stuff on my business page. I think I'm more active there.
I don't follow that page. Anyway,
do we all just want to pause the recording, go put up a thirst trap real quick, and just come back?
No.
Oh, damn! Shots fired.
Oh,
man, damn.
But yeah, I post thirst all the time. But that's what people want to see, because that's what gets the likes. When I post other stuff, people like it, but let me post a thirst trap or a firearms picture.
Yeah,
and they're all over it.
Absolutely.
Anything else, nobody wants to see. Nobody wants to hear about certain things, and nobody wants to hear about that or see other things. Sorry, my window looks like a child has been putting their fingerprints all over it. Random. Yeah. Anyway,
I'm trying to get access to all them thirst traps. So like, let me peek up in here and see.
Either they got access,
right?
Maybe they'll see the crime.
Not in this panorama that we having. No. Not during the panorama.
Why don't we make up some words, man?
Oh man!
Oh my God!
Panorama going on outside. Ain't nobody coming up.
Y'all almost made me choke.
It's COVID panorama.
This COVID panorama.
This 360-degree view we have in a COVID.
Exactly.
In conclusion, and Will alluded to this earlier, but I wanted to save it to the end of the discussion. What do we feel like there is to be done about our individual issues? And obviously we can't tell society how to handle their shit, but what do we feel like there is to be done about our own stuff?
For my individual issues, it involves me going plant-based.
Mm-hmm.
drinking a gallon of water every day,
Yeah.
stepping up my workout game,
Mm-hmm.
and getting back to me. That's what's going to solve my issues. Now, realistically, that sounds really good, right? Sounds like it's that simple. I can just do that and have all the confidence in the world.
Right.
But in reality, it doesn't matter what size I am.
Yeah.
There's still going to be something.
Of course.
There's still going to be something. I'm going to, even pictures that I post that I'm like, oh, this is cute. I'm about to post this thirst trap. And I get, hundreds of likes on it. I can go back and look at that picture. And if I stare at it long enough, I'll want to take it down because I'm like, this is hideous.
Yep.
So
So
I don't know.
It's mental gymnastics then. I mean, 'cause you can do those things, but even if you have like physically everything on point, if mentally you don't see that and still see yourself as that something imperfect, like it doesn't even matter. It doesn't.
Oh, absolutely.
Because even for females especially, we can post a picture and we can post it for one person in particular, and we're waiting on that one person to like it. 400 or 500 other people can like it, but if that one person doesn't like it, it doesn't even matter.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It does not even matter. It's like, dang, I guess I'm ugly.
Wow. That's what I think. Especially in our community, mental health is such a big need, and I feel like there's a lot of momentum moving towards, promoting mental health, encouraging mental health, the Black community, and I just hope that continues to kind of trend and gain momentum, because I think a large part of all of this has to do with that foundation.
Yeah, and I think we're such an externally driven society. I mean, at some point we have to recognize that confidence, self-love, all those things are internally derived products. And that if we don't have it, we're never going to reach a satisfactory level of approval or compliments or whatever it is you assign currency to in the outside world. We're never going to have an adequate amount of it to support us day in, day out, and make us believe we are in fact enough, as we said in a previous podcast. And that's why I continue to think, those words are very easy to say. But when you get down to the business of saying, all right, I'm going to go out to the pool today and I'm going to take my shirt off and I'm going to lay out here in this pool and I'm not going to turn my head even 15 degrees to the left or the right to see if anybody is checking for this or not. I'm just going to enjoy being in my space, looking how I look. I want to get in the pool. I'm going to get my ass in the pool. If I don't, I won't. But I'm just going to inhabit the space that I take up and be totally comfortable in that.
Right.
And my pool is probably 200 feet from where I'm sitting now. And you would just as soon get me to fight somebody than go out there and do what I just said that I could do.
Yeah.
Now, I do utilize my pool. Now, I'm not out there in a two-piece.
Right.
I tell you that. But I will say that because during the summer, normally I have Fridays off. Mm-hmm. So Fridays is normally my pool day. I'll just go and chill at the pool. And there's always these two girls there. One of them is a larger girl. I can't remember. William, how did you you used a phrase.
Oh, you're about to get him in trouble.
Okay, we'll talk about it off camera. So one of
so many phrases.
Yeah. One of them is a larger. Yeah, she's plus size. And she always has on a two-piece.
Yeah.
And she's a pretty girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, I wish I had her confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And her and her friend, they have their and I'm always glad when they're there because I'll take a drink to the pool and they have their big speaker that they bring out there and it's like a party. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, yes, here they come. Yes, you know. And she has on her two-piece every time. And she is just laying out. She's not bothered by anybody else. And they're just having a good time. And I'm just like, man, I wish I had her confidence.
Yep.
Yeah.
But here I am with my oversized t-shirt on, my denim shorts, my knee-high socks, and my sneakers. No, I'm just
Damn,
kidding.
at the pool?
I'm just kidding.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. But but as
oh.
covered up as I am, I might as well have on all that. So
You out there looking strange.
right. but yeah.
That's hobo
So,
key.
yeah, I don't right. I don't know how it's like both of you said, it's internal.
Of course.
Like it's something that we have to work on internally.
And then also put yourself around people that, again, like I said, it's something you got to work on it internally, but also be mindful of who's around you that pours into you or feeds into you.
Mm-hmm.
And be aware of that, because that's the other component of it. It's what's going on internally, but it's also the external environment.
Yeah, but I think an element of that too is, and it's more specific than just it being internally derived, is deal with your past. Deal with your past. Deal with your thoughts or your inability to move on from situations where people said things to you that created an impression that you have of yourself. Whether you have a direct conversation with them or can or not, or whether or not you're able to completely resolve it. Just acknowledge the fact that things that people say to and about you do have an impact, and that if you don't address it, it will continue to show up in various ways and will affect how you perceive yourself and how you present yourself to others. And so I think to the extent that we can do that, and we can at least acknowledge that, yes, I'm still messed up about some shit that was said to me in the 6th grade about, and actually I'll use a personal example. Like there was we had, I think our music teacher, her name was like Miss Justice or whatever. And she went, I was in Ms. Roberts' class, and she went around the class and asked everybody what they were thinking. And we were having like a quiet moment. And literally I think we were a class of like 20-something students. I can almost promise you that like 8 to 10 students said, Terrence has goosebumps, is what they were thinking. And that still sticks with me to this day.
Terrence has what? Goosebumps.
That was their childish way of referring to acne. And that stuck with me.
Kids ain't shit.
We really are not. We're mean as hell. We are awful. We're awful. And that's not like I've not reached a point where I can forgive that and recognize it was us being kids, and I'm sure I said my shit as well, but that moment stuck with me, and it has obviously influenced the way that I see myself and what I look for when I look in the mirror, and what I tend to focus on or obsess about. Like if I have a breakout now, it's the end of the world. Well, not entirely the end of the world, but it definitely takes up more of my thought space than it should, because it's just it's just something that happens with your body chemically, and it may be something that never changes. But it is something that I have to deal with if I ever hope to have the level of confidence where I can move about the world the way that I want to and truly do me, as people love to say these days. I'm doing me, do you, blah, blah, blah. We're really going to do ourselves. I think we really need to do with our past as well.
Yeah.
And on that note,
It's a factor.
I feel like that's a lovely place to end this this illuminating but uncomfortable discussion we've been having about body confidence.
I feel enlightened. I'm almost done with my drink.
And I believe my friends are a bit frozen right now.
No, I'm not frozen. You're frozen, my friend. That would be you. Me and Love Lady are still moving.
Yeah, I was about to say, y'all over just grooving it. My internet connection's unstable apparently.
Okay.
But y'all ready to close this out?
Yes.
Yeah.
We would like for everybody to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on all of our socials at most likely the number 2 Day Drink. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We are, what are we on Twitter, guys? Because you know I can never remember.
ML2D.
ML2DD.
DD.
DD. Double D.
Double D's.
Double D's. Be quiet.
ML2DD.
I was about to say, don't say nothing else. don't say a word else. I saw that train about to jump right on off.
Oh yeah. It was about to get ugly.
All right. So until next time, what are we gonna do, guys?
We're gonna keep sipping and keep speaking. Love y'all.
Oh.
So slow.